Title: She chose a real dad, so I walked away silently. For 3 years straight, I worked overnight shifts as a security guard. Long, lonely hours spent pacing the halls of silent office buildings while the world slept. My feet ached constantly. My eyes burned from exhaustion, but I kept showing up. I did it for one reason: so my stepdaughter, Lily, could go to college without being buried in student loans. I married Sarah when Lily was 10. Her biological dad, James, was barely around. He'd show up now and then on her birthday, maybe treat her to ice cream, then vanish again for months. Meanwhile, I was the one packing her school lunches, helping with homework, teaching her to ride a bike, and staying up late to soothe her nightmares. I didn't see her as my stepdaughter. I saw her as my daughter. When Lily got accepted into her dream university, I knew my warehouse job alone wouldn't cut it. Tuition, books, dorm expenses, food, it was overwhelming. I decided to take on a second job. At first, I told myself I'd only do it for a semester or two, but the costs kept climbing, and I didn't want her to stress about finances. So I kept working, night after night, year after year. I never told Lily about the second job, not because I was hiding it, but because I didn't want her to feel guilty. I was proud to do it. I was proud of her. Then, just a month before her graduation, the truth came out. I got home one morning, barely able to keep my eyes open, and Sarah was waiting for me. Lily stood behind her, arms folded, her expression cold, full of something I couldn't quite read. Disappointment? Disgust? I braced for an argument. Maybe she was upset that I kept the night job a secret. Maybe she thought I'd lied. But I wasn't prepared for what actually came out of her mouth. "I'm embarrassed to invite you to my graduation because of your job, so I'm inviting my real dad instead." Those words hit harder than any punch I've ever taken. My real dad. That's what she called James. I turned to Sarah, hoping she'd say something, anything. Tell Lily she was being unfair. But Sarah just stood there, silent. If anything, she looked guilty. I asked her point blank, "Do you agree with this?" She hesitated, then sighed. She just doesn't want to feel ashamed. "Honey, try to understand." But I didn't understand. I had sacrificed my time, my sleep, even my health for this girl. And when it mattered, when she was supposed to honor that, she replaced me with a man who had never been there. I nodded slowly. "I see." I walked to our bedroom, packed a bag, and left. That night, I checked into a cheap motel. The next morning, I called a divorce lawyer. When I told Sarah I wanted out, she looked stunned. "You're really going to end our marriage over one mistake?" she asked. I nearly laughed. One mistake? This wasn't just a mistake. It was the moment I realized that everything I gave meant nothing the second I stopped being convenient. Lily was an adult. She made her choice. And so did I. I didn't attend her graduation. James did. There's a photo floating around online, him with his arm around her, smiling like he'd actually earned the right to be there, like he'd been the one to carry her all these years. While they posed for cameras, I was sitting across from my lawyer, signing papers, dividing assets, and walking away with my self-respect. It's been a year now. I won't lie, at first, the pain was unbearable. I had given so much of myself trying to be a good father, only to realize I was nothing more than a placeholder. But you know what? I sleep through the night now. No more 3 a.m. shifts. No more dragging myself home, dead on my feet, for people who never truly value what I gave. And Lily? Last I heard, James isn't helping with her grad school bills. Some dads are just good for a photo. A few months after the divorce, Sarah reached out. It started with a text. "Can we talk?" I ignored it. Then came the phone calls. I let them ring. Eventually, she showed up at my new apartment, standing outside my door like she still had the right to be there. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. She looked older, worn down. Maybe life had finally caught up with her. "Lily wants to see you," she said. I leaned against the doorway, arms folded. "Is that so?" She nodded. She regrets what she said. She knows she was wrong. She didn't realize what you'd done for her. I raised an eyebrow. She was 22, Sarah, not a child. She knew what she was saying. and you let her say it. Sarah winced. I made a mistake. I exhaled slowly, then shook my head. You made a choice. Her eyes filled with tears. Maybe she thought they'd soften me. Maybe once they would have, but not anymore. Please, she whispered. Just talk to her. I thought about it. I really did. But then I remembered all those sleepless nights. Every hour spent alone in that cold security booth. All for a girl who decided, when it counted, that I wasn't good enough. I looked Sarah in the eyes. Tell her I wish her well. And I shut the door. She lingered a moment. I could hear her breathing on the other side. I could feel the weight of what she didn't say. Then she left. And that was that. Months passed. I kept working. Just one job this time. I picked up some hobbies. Went on a few dates. Started enjoying life again. Then one day, a letter arrived. From Lily. I almost tossed it without reading it. But something told me to open it. It was long. Pages of apologies, confessions, regrets. She told me how James disappeared again right after graduation. How he stopped answering calls when she needed support. She admitted she'd been shallow and cruel. I don't deserve your forgiveness, she wrote. But I need you to know I finally see you. I see everything you did for me. And I'm so sorry. I sat with that letter for a long time, staring at it, thinking. In the end, I didn't reply. Not because I hated her. Not because I wanted revenge. But because I had finally learned something important. Sometimes, walking away is the only way to heal.